What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pat's Chat. I'm Doug Kyed, joined as always by Michael Hurley, and we are a proud member of CLNS Media. And you should make sure to subscribe to all CLNS YouTube channels, including our own at Pat's Chat, but definitely Patriots Press Pass, and hit that notification button so that you know when shows are coming. Michael, crazy
Hey,
game last night. Where the heck do we start? Do you have an opening take for us? Do you have a first take? Are you Cam Newton?
I'm not in this week. It's Christmas week. No, I'd just like to not thank you, thank me. You can thank me for starting the podcast by banging my microphone stand. Like, what a start!
What a start.
We're off to a great start. Opening take. I don't want to start with like officiating. We'll get into that,
Ooh,
but my thought was twice this year they had two road games where they were getting absolutely screwed by unimaginably bad calls. In the Saints game, they won, and it was kind of like, well, it was the Saints. The Saints aren't terrible.
yeah.
The Saints are better than we thought. This game, the Ravens aren't great, but they're not terrible. They're okay. And you overcame both of those in a road environment. I think that we're learning some teams just crater to excuses.
Hmm.
And this team, like last night, was ugly at times. There were mistakes. It was sloppy. It was kind of a mess. There was an excuse there, or three excuses to sort of just roll over and say screw it, and they don't, and they got a big win, and they're going to the playoffs. So it was a exciting, fun night. We're not going to sit here and be like they're perfect. It was the most wonderful game ever, but I think it's a hell of a night.
Yeah, I think it was really important for Drake May to get the fourth quarter comeback as well, especially after last week. Like
Mhm.
to have that opportunity just 1 week later, I feel like was really big because if that had built up and it had come in the playoffs and then, oh no, the Patriots are trailing, can Drake May manufacture a fourth quarter comeback? All those things, then maybe the moment becomes a little bit bigger. But for it to just be thrown at him right away the next week after the Bills game and for him to come through the way they did, and as you mentioned, with the refs working against him in that situation. Like, I mean, God, like we'll get right into it, I guess, because you almost have to. That was the most egregious pass interference that wasn't called.
Since the 2018 NFC Championship game,
Right, with the Saints and the Vikings, right?
Rams.
Saints and Rams, yes.
It was what's his name? Tommy Lee, the running back. His name's Tommy Lee. No,
That's the drummer from Motley Crue.
yeah, I know. But it was that bad. It was Marlon Humphrey laying on the ground being like, ah, damn, I've done the penalty.
Right, like I mean, I don't know.
He didn't even go to intercept the
Well,
ball
that I was just about to
because he
bring
knew
that
it
up
was a
because like
penalty.
I don't know what was going
Tommy
through his
Lee
mind at
Lewis.
that time.
Tommy Lee Lewis, by the way.
Yes. I don't know what he was trying to do, but when the ball came to him, it appeared, based on watching it, they just kind of like batted it away.
He's like, he was sitting there like shoulders slumped, like, I got
And
beat.
then
Like,
he looked this way, he looked that way. Um, and yeah, I mean, and I don't blame him because
he
he
tackled
was
him.
dragging Keyshawn Boutte down. It's funny, like, depending on the quality of video you're watching, you can almost tell, like one video I looked at looked like the ref was directly looking
He
at the
was.
play.
Yeah.
Other one looked like he had turned his head just as it was happening. But like, I don't know, like that person, I really am not in the business of hoping that people lose their jobs or anything like that. But if you're the NFL
You have to explain it.
and you watch that call and you know who that person is, you have to have him explain it and you have to say like, listen, like what was going through your head in this situation? Why did you not throw a flag here? Did you forget it at home? Was it in
Right.
your other ref pants pockets? What was going on here? Like, did you just not feel like it? Were the vibes off? What was going on there?
And it's just there was an element of it. I'm not excusing the missed PI. You've heard Julian Edelman talk in the past how Belichick would be like, if you're playing a team with red jerseys, you got to wear red gloves because you can sort of hide
Right.
your. There was white gloves on white jersey and white pants. That there was an element. You mentioned the quality of the video where you're like, you can't tell if he's tugging, pulling, or whatever. But once he wraps up his legs
Yeah.
and brings him to the ground, there's really no.
No.
It's not in traffic. There's no obstructions. It's a
No.
50-yard bomb, and you miss that. And there's no excuse. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
like it's almost like the length of the throw might have worked against the Patriots there, because like if you're the ref and you throw a flag there, that's essentially a game winner that you're giving the Patriots there. So like if that's a 15-yard pass, I think they throw the flag. Maybe he got nervous. That's like, oh, this is a 50-yard penalty right now that I'm about to throw.
Well,
But you got to do it. I mean,
yeah,
Keyshawn Boutte probably catches that ball if that's not happening.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember so that was,
I'm just gonna
I
close the
no,
drape on this window.
I
real
like your
quick.
saintly look. I'm trying to
But
remember
keep
the
talking.
scenario. Like I already forget the scenario, but I don't know. That's the element that I was talking about. As Doug closes, I kind of liked the glowing Doug personally. I'm watching you close your curtain in the reflection of your hotel artwork.
Everyone has to report back to me how Michael did while I was gone.
I watched you do your like I could see you in the artwork. It was kind of weird. What was the scenario? I already forget the deep ball that was not called pass interference. What drive was that? I forget the details because
you forget it was the fourth quarter comeback. It was the final drive
so it was the one that ended with
the Ramondre Stevenson
touchdown.
touchdown. Yeah,
Okay.
it was like he actually probably threw that pass too early because there was 3 minutes left in the game at that point.
Yeah.
It was one of the first plays of the drive, and he just said like, "F it, I'm going deep to Keyshawn Boutte."
Yeah.
Because obviously there's no guarantee that you can dink and dunk down the field there. Not that that's what happened, but so it was on second down.
Then they converted. No, that was first down.
Okay.
Then they converted because Diggs had that slant over the middle on 2nd and 6 to convert it. New set of downs. Threw the bomb.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Then they had to convert on 4th down to Diggs again. And then 2 plays later, Stevenson scored. But I don't know. Well, there were more officiating mistakes or errors that we can get to, but that one was crazy. And again, it's one of those things like the Pop Douglas coming off the board in New Orleans. Those things are ones that teams lose games because of. And for whatever reason, this team is just like, tough luck.
Yeah, I was really impressed that they were able to still work through it. And I guess they possibly would have had enough time if Maye didn't convert on 4th down to Stefon Diggs, but it makes it a lot more difficult.
Well, I liked their chances of stopping, just gearing up for the run. I don't think Tyler Huntley was going to beat them. And especially because the Ravens were intent on not using the best player on the field and just not using Derrick Henry. So they probably would have got the ball back.
I'm not convinced because they hadn't used Derrick Henry on the previous drive, right? So you would think that John Harbaugh would come to his senses and use Derrick Henry on the next drive. And as much as the Patriots were loading up against the run all game, even with Tyler Huntley in there, they still weren't able to stop Derrick Henry. They were able to stop Keaton Mitchell pretty well. So I'm not convinced that they would have won the game had that not happened.
Tough guy to stop, Derrick Henry, but you got to get Keaton Mitchell on the field as much as you can. That's my philosophy as a football guy. Like, listen, Derrick Henry, great career and all. Stay on the sideline. We got to get the ball to Keaton Mitchell. How many times? Times did he get the ball last night?
Keaton Mitchell is a game-breaking running back. I know he's not Derrick Henry, and I think by the end of that game, it was pretty evident that Derrick Henry was the better option against the Patriots.
Keaton Mitchell, 9 carries for 13 yards.
Right. He's averaging over like 7 yards per carry on the season, I would say, but still,
he has 300 yards.
He's not Derrick Henry.
His game high this year is 76.
Right, and most of that probably came on 1 carry, I would guess. I think he's kind of like a big play type of guy.
Yeah, I just found that it was a break they caught. I would think in a game where Lamar Jackson gets hurt before halftime, and I have a Lamar Jackson brewing take to share later.
Okay.
You would think you'd give the ball to the guy that can't really be stopped without 3 guys chasing him, and they just didn't. So a good break, bad coaching by the Ravens. Don't know what the hell was going on there, but that was a significant factor in this one.
No, it certainly was. And listen, this was a game where, as you mentioned, John Harbaugh just decided to use Keaton Mitchell instead of Derrick Henry on a very important drive. It was a game that Lamar Jackson went down with a back injury before the first half was over. So this was a game that the Patriots probably should have won in a lot more easy terms, but they didn't. And we'll get into that more. This is definitely a team that still has some pretty glaring issues as they head into the playoffs.
Can I give you like one way that they could have made it a little easier on themselves?
Absolutely not gotten injured like 20 times.
The injuries were ridiculous, but no. To me, again, we get into my football philosophies. I'm just one man. I'm not an NFL coach. I on 4th and 10 don't want Marte Mapu, in charge of the football. That's not what I want to do on 4th and 10. I know it was a pass. I don't want that. He ended up running. I don't want that. He's holding the football like I've never seen anyone hold a football before in a game. We talk about history, the worst missed PI since the 2017 NFC title game. That was the worst fake punt since the Colts in 20, whatever that was, 15.
It's just so many yards to pick up. And I know that, I butchered it to start and tweeted that they called a run there. And it was, but like a pass is almost more egregiously bad.
Both are bad.
I've never seen Marte Mapu throw the ball. And listen, I don't know. Like Marte Mapu is one of the smartest players on the Patriots team.
Doesn't matter.
But he also kind of seems to be in the middle of bad situations sometimes on the field. Like when he gets picked up by a pick or, I don't know if it's not like it. I would try. Obviously, it's a different position. You're not going to move Brendan Schooler there, but like, wouldn't you maybe trust Brendan Schooler more in that situation, or like
I don't
trust someone else on your defense? But I don't think Marte Mapu's ever been a quarterback. I might be wrong, but it would surprise me.
Perhaps in Pop Warner or Little League, whatever he played as a youth. I don't want anyone taking that play. Brendan Schooler, Marte Mapu. I don't want anyone doing that fake because it was horrible. It cut off half the field for the Ravens, and they end up scoring in what?
You know what? Marte Mapu, high school quarterback.
Oh, there you go. Well,
Hawthorne High School, same high school that 4 of the Beach Boys went to.
See, no other podcast is bringing that to anyone.
Brian Wilson also played quarterback. 3 guys in this brain that I know played quarterback at Hawthorne High School.
That's incredible.
Brian Wilson, Marte Mapu, and Kyle Williams. I would have trusted Kyle Williams more in that situation.
Maybe. I think here's
not Brian Wilson though.
So you have the fake punt gone awry, and then the Ravens scored like 6 plays, just like 60 yards, like boom.
Yeah.
I don't blame the defense for that one. I think there was a level of shock and awe at what just took place. So
just that was giving them the ball back at that short field, like it truly that was a shocking one. And there were so many other questions that Vrabel wasn't asked about it today. I'm not sure if he's been on the radio yet, but maybe he'll get asked about it on the radio. Probably not. So we might have to wait until tomorrow when Vrabel talks to us again to talk to him about it.
I think unlike
what that one was,
Belichick used to sort of, as a brag, do his EEI interview at like 6:10 after night games. I feel like I think Vrabel's like, I'll see you guys at like 9:30. What are you, nuts?
I think he's gonna go on around 9. Yeah.
So good for him.
No, 100%.
Protect your peace. But
we're on before he's on WEI, I believe.
Yeah. So shout out to you.
To us. Yeah.
How much sleep you get?
Not a ton, I'd say. Yeah, it's all right.
You can't even sleep on the flight because it's 10 minutes long. So
it's a shorter flight, which I enjoy. I like a shorter flight.
Yeah. I just feel like if this game at certain times, and this sort of goes into resilience and overcoming whatever. Last week I said I'm glad we didn't do a podcast at halftime because we would have been like, Patriots roll over the Bills.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't do a podcast after the third quarter last night because
for sure
it was looking like just an ugly night. So the fact, I think what's the difference in what was an ugly night to what turned into a great win? I think it's like Drake May's the obvious answer.
Right.
Stefon Diggs was great.
Yeah, Stefon Diggs was really good.
And I had an observation watching him because he had a lot of tough catches. Like his first one, which sent him to the medical tent, which was nuts.
He was pissed about.
Which he should have been because he wasn't hitting the head.
Right.
But he had that catch on the slant that I mentioned where it's sort of off target and he makes an incredible play. He makes the 4th down play. He wants to win so badly, and it's so evident. And I think that's why it's working this year. We all had our questions like, is his attitude going to work or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
He wants to win. He's with other people that are like scrapping to win, and they're winning. So that's why it's simply working out. But he now in primetime, 3 of the 4 primetime games, he's been an absolute star.
Yeah.
So I look at Drake May was great last night. Like Kyle Williams' touchdown was sick. There were a ton of great balls. I think he was 5 of 6 on deep balls, and the only incompletion was the pass interference that wasn't.
Never should have been an incompletion in the first place. Yeah.
So like Drake May's fourth quarter was tremendous.
12 of 14, I think.
I'm not taking that away. I just look at it as a two-man situation, and there was a team effort. What stood out the most was Stefon Diggs is elevating in these moments, and that's after a week where we were sitting here saying, why aren't they playing Diggs more?
Right. Yeah, I don't know what his total snap count was, but seems like he played more than 50% of snaps in that game. Although I'm not sure. They mixed a lot of personnel again, which worked against the Bills, was not working as much against the Ravens. The Thayer Munfords, the Ben Browns, the Jack Westovers, the two tight ends. They didn't get to do the pony packages because Trevion Henderson got hurt. Got so many guys. So Trevion Henderson and Kayshon Boutte both had head injuries. So that certainly puts their status for next week against the Jets in question.
That's another offshoot of the pass interference.
Right. Morgan Moses got banged up. Thayer Munford got banged up. Both those guys came back. Kyrus Tonga did not return. Joshua Farmer did not return. Charles Woods did not return. I don't think Demario Douglas returned.
He took 13 snaps, so I'm guessing no.
How many snaps did Diggs play?
I'll have to double check if you give me a moment. But
so after I don't know what the NFL does about this, but I guess like just be more watch the replay better because as much as it's important to check guys for concussions,
44 snaps for Diggs
out of how many?
Out of 74.
Okay, so more than half, but not a lot more than half.
He had 5 fewer than Hollins, who led receivers with 49.
You can't keep a guy off the field for the rest of a drive if he doesn't have a concussion.
Yeah.
It was kind of unfair in that situation. And Diggs was losing his mind because he wanted to be out there with his pals helping to win the game, and they were holding him back. So Melissa Stark said that
he'll get fined.
Escaped from the blue medical tent. He said he was blacking out. He was so mad. He said he apologized to them after the game, but he might get fined. I don't know. We'll see.
I thought he should have been pulled off by the independent leg doctor, not the neurologist, because like his leg was bent and folded. I'm like, uh-oh. It looked like he might have broken his leg.
Yeah.
And then he grabbed his shoulder. There was no head contact.
Right. Maybe because he came up like really nursing the shoulder thing. They were like, that guy's acting. He's showing us it's the shoulder when really it's the head.
It's a difficult spot, but given how spotty they are at it, it's always sort of eyebrow raising when they do it incorrectly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. My take that gets me fried a lot. The Edelman Super Bowl Seahawks one is always used as the example. His hip flexor was out. And like they say that he fell over. People always say like, oh, he got knocked out. He fell. It's like when your hip flexor is out, trust me, I suffer a lot of lower body soft tissue injuries. When your hip flexor out, you can just literally, your leg goes out. And 2 plays later, again, it happened to him. So I mean, maybe he was concussed on that play, but I still say like that's the gold standard everyone uses as, oh, they got to get these guys off the field. Might have cost the Patriots a Super Bowl if they were doing it then. So
it's true. Very true.
It's a tricky spot. And after that, this is probably too deep. Wes Welker, who had horrific concussion situations late in his career. I remember he was on the Rams.
Yep.
He was on the Rams, and I forget who the quarterback. I don't think it was Bradford. There was a quarterback who got actually knocked out, and they didn't pull him off the field, and he stayed in the game. And I remember Wes Welker being like, you got to get off that team. But either way, like it's a difficult thing to sort of police and overlook. But you can't be wrong. You know what I mean? Like there's an abundance of caution, and then there's interfering with the game incorrectly.
Right.
So it's delicate.
Did I miss anyone else who got injured in that game?
So Moses came back. You mentioned
Moses came back there. Munford came back. Yeah, I think we might have gone through.
So, I mean, the most concerning ones, I mean, if you can say such a thing, I feel like the head injuries to Henderson and Boutte.
Right, because it seems pretty unlikely that they would be back for this week.
And probably next week. I mean, right? I mean, why would you rush them back?
Right.
So Henderson's obviously become a huge part of the offense. Boutte he looked oddly disengaged last night. I don't know if you felt the same.
The interception was really strange, yeah.
He didn't have a lot of fight in him. He looked sort of
he
like
just
a guy.
Like reached over when they were picking it off.
Yeah, he did before halftime, I believe it was, have a ridiculous toe drag on the sidelines.
Yeah, that was
So
really good.
so he did start contributing, but he looked kind of like a guy at work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Clocking in. So but that has nothing to do with his head injury, but he was the third highest snap count among receivers. They played a 3 receiver game basically.
Right.
And then Kyle
Yeah.
Williams took a spot basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And Kyle Williams had a big catch, which was huge, obviously. Big touchdown
Impressive
for Kyle
catch.
Williams. Impressive catch, impressive tracking of the ball. Seems like he could be on an upward trajectory here for the Patriots now.
Yeah, he's been it's funny these rookies like Henderson and Williams, second and third rounders, didn't contribute off the bat.
Yeah.
It feels like this is sort of a normal progression, not the like
Right. Yeah.
it's not the like hit the ground running and have 2,000 yards from scrimmage type
Right.
rookie season. So it's going to be tough for I don't know. A head injury to a running back is always like
Don't want to rush him back for sure.
yeah, and there's no you can't be like, oh, give him 3 weeks, he'll be fine. You just don't know.
Right.
So it's a tough spot.
Credit to the defense in this one as well. Obviously weren't perfect, but 2 huge forced fumbles,
Yep.
both of which, well, the first one led to a touchdown, the Patriots' first touchdown, I believe. That was Jalen Hawkins punching the ball loose against Derrick Henry. Last one, game clinching play by Caleb Von Chason to punch the ball out against Zay Flowers. Caleb Von Chason said after the game that they knew that the Ravens had speed skaters on their offense, which I was like, what's that mean? And it just means like they hold the ball far away from their body, kind of. He said, like, if you watch a speed skater, that's kind of like, I don't know, that's how the Ravens run, apparently. And we saw it in practice on Thursday, but like one of the first drills they ran directly in front of the media was a punch out drill, which in the moment I was like, this is interesting that they're letting us see this, which in turn lets the Ravens see it. And you would have thought maybe they were trying to get in the Ravens' head to be like, oh, you've really got to work on ball security or whatever. Or maybe it was just they did it because it was an individual drill. But Jalen Hawkins said that it was a gigantic emphasis. They did way more punch-out drills in practice this week. And hey, it paid off. And this was a team that only had 3 takeaways in the last 6 games. Having 2 in one game is quite an accomplishment for the Patriots.
Yeah, I just the first one especially from Hawkins. I think the Ravens had gained yardage on every play up until that point.
Yeah.
Like they were literally unstoppable.
Yeah.
And that play itself was like a 7-8 yard run.
Right.
And it was just clearly intentional, like you said.
Right.
They were working on it. And it was so necessary because to that point, it was what? Was it only 7-0? I think it was only 7. That was the second drive, right?
I think so.
Yeah. But the Ravens had gained 19 yards, 3 yards, 4 yards, 18 yards, 21 yards touchdown on the first drive.
It seemed to change the momentum for the Ravens, at least in the game. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just without a turnover. And then the second drive, 5 yards, 6 yards, 5 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards, 14 yards, 18 yards, 6 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, 2 yards. I passed. But they were gaining yards. There was no negatives there. If you might have noticed. So
right after the first drive, or maybe even into the second drive, the Ravens had a 100% success rate passing the ball.
Yeah, and then I guess like there's an element. There was a pass to Diggs, right, where he could have run to the sideline and gotten a few more yards, but instead cut in, tried to he juked out his one guy, but then the second wave comes and you don't get any extra yards, and people are hitting you from behind. Zay Flowers loves to do that.
Yeah.
But has a ball security issue when it comes to that. So it was really a great, like Chason was like the play was over for him. He rushed the passer. He didn't get very far and the pass is behind him. You don't always get that kind of effort from a player at that point of the game. You're tired. You're trying to save your energy to get the quarterback and you turn around and make a play like that. It was certainly boom worthy. It was high up on my booms, those 2 guys.
Yeah, both those guys deserved it. And I mean, through like 3.5 quarters, it was kind of tough sledding finding booms because midway through the third quarter, Drake Maye was looking like a doom in this game.
Oh, yeah,
he had the 2 turnovers, interception, as we mentioned. Keyshawn Boutte didn't show a lot of effort on it, but not a good pass by Drake Maye. He had the fumble.
Protection.
What was that?
The tackle play on the interception was like a joke. The tackle play was horrific in this game. But Moses
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and
there was also times though that May had like 6 seconds in the pocket, so it was very spotty by the offensive line in this game.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just some of that play. If you watch the interception, just
Yeah.
it's as if Moses and Lowe weren't even playing.
Yeah, there was a lot of times that he had to evade, and he did a really good job, actually, I think, in general in this game of evading pressure and throwing despite guys being like the deep throw to Keyshawn Boutte. He's getting tripped right before he unloads that ball and still gets it downfield. So,
You were
good
going. I
game
interrupted
outside
you,
of the fumble
and
from a pocket presence standpoint.
the fumble on a handoff when he just hit Jack West over his hip.
Yeah, yeah,
It was sloppy Drake from September, where it's just like, dude, the football,
right.
protect it. But
Yeah,
again, you can rewrite those stories when you have a fourth quarter like he did.
yeah, no. First 300-yard game, like I mentioned, obviously first fourth quarter comeback, game winning drive, signature Drake May moment. We'll get into booms and dooms in a few minutes here, but we can't be completely rosy after this performance, obviously.
No.
I think the Patriots, it's a huge concern if they're not able to beat the Jets and Dolphins the next 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Although the Dolphins do run the ball well, so that could be a concern. But
Sure.
as far as like a deep playoff run, when you do struggle on the road against a Lamar Jackson less Ravens team, I don't know. I guess time will tell to see if this team is built for a long playoff run and if they can make the Super Bowl as they currently stand. But I don't think they were beating a playoff team, like a good playoff team last night, even with the fourth quarter they had.
Last night, no. Last week, no. So definitely kind of a
Yeah.
couple of concerning games. But I don't know, Doug. You look at, I don't know the good playoff team out there.
That's true. I mean, that was going to be my next point. Yeah, because like the
Like
Jaguars, I'm still not that
Denver,
scared of the
yeah.
Jaguars. Denver,
Laid an egg, got smoked by the Jaguars. The Steelers looked good in Detroit. That's probably the best the Steelers have looked all year.
Yeah.
They'll probably look bad next week.
right?
The Chargers don't really scare you. The Bills, they have the
I
best
think the
quarterback.
Bills are probably the one that scare you the most, but they struggled against the Browns.
It's entirely the quarterback, like
Right.
it's I mean James Cook too, but it's not a game where you look at and say, "Oh wow, that's a behemoth Buffalo team." And then Houston barely beating the Raiders. Their offense is brutal.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think the Colts are sneaking in.
No.
So that's your field. I don't
Right.
know that any, but I'm with you. Like, and I've said this, they could have this great season, and they could lose in the wild card round. It's just sort of a reality of it's a wide open AFC, like we say. That means they could win or lose to anyone. I really don't think there's any game that you
Right.
say they're better than a 60% chance of winning. It's just a pretty even
Because
AFC. I will.
even as we're talking about like the Broncos, you're not scared of the Jaguars, the Steelers. All those teams are better than what the Ravens were last night, and the Patriots had to sneak by the Ravens. So
Yeah, I do think they were a little overcommitted to Lamar last night. It's their strategy. Like the first Derrick Henry touchdown run, they were outnumbered. Like they were just too concerned with Lamar. There was the third down conversion on the opening drive where they didn't even rush the quarterback. They just all stayed in their
Right.
lanes. And Lamar Jackson had, I think Chris Collinsworth said, 20 steps in the pocket, just bouncing and waiting, and
Yeah,
then
that was
completed the
wild.
pass downfield. And it's like, this is not the same Lamar Jackson. This is a Lamar Jackson who got
No.
chased down by Chason going to the sideline. Like he's
Right.
not the same guy, and obviously ended up getting hurt.
Yeah. It was
But-
concerning though that you start off the game with 4 300-pound defensive linemen, and you still can't stop the run.
Yeah. No, it's an issue. But to get back to what you were saying, I had a note here in my notes app
Oh wow! Look at you.
because
Not writing, not
It's just
pen
a
and
note.
paper.
just notes app because I wanted to mention this, and I'm glad you brought it up. Because like Felger and Maz all week, and this isn't Felger and Maz suck. It's not. They spent a lot of time this week doing this path, like the playoff path, and like the best way, and whether you'd want to be a wild card, and whether that would be better than being the 2 seed, blah blah blah. And like, I think if you're a fan of the Patriots, right, it's okay to like think about this and have hopes and sort of dreams about what could be. But like, I don't think from an analytical standpoint, it makes sense to map out a run to the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not like, we're not here to piss on dreams, right?
Right.
But I think if you're trying to look at the team and assess it, it's like, sure, they could,
Yeah.
But I just don't think you want to sit around in December and spend your next 3 weeks being like, oh, if you play Houston
No.
or if you get the 1 seed and then you host.
Right.
And I just think all of that could happen. I'm not going to predict anything in the AFC playoffs this postseason. I just don't think that's the best use of time right now, given the clear flaws that the team has. They're overcoming it. It's great. It's like an awesome story. They've won friggin' 12 games. I just feel like it's being taken to the extreme, and I don't think that's wise.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying that I feel like for weeks that like just enjoy this for what it is. I don't think that you need to necessarily be Super Bowl or bust. And I know it's just a small subset of fans and it probably is not largely representative of how everyone thinks. I was a little bit surprised by the negativity yesterday from Patriots fans when they did start to lose, of people being like, this team's terrible. They came out of the bye dead. Like, this is on Mike Vrabel. This is on coaching. He didn't have them prepared. All this stuff. It's like, guys, he's done such a good job with this team this year. They're like, even if they had finished 11-6, it's such a masterful coaching job by Mike Vrabel to get them to that point that, like, you just, at a certain point, you can't just enjoy, like, you can't watch sports to complain. It's not the point. I don't know.
I think that's what I'm getting at, where it's like you're sort of building up too high of an expectation for a team that won 4 games last year. They've tripled their win total. They're going to the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. They have an actual chance in the playoffs, unlike they did 4 years ago. So it's really been 6 years since you had a team that had a chance to make a competitive run. It's like, it's kind of sounds loserish to be like, just enjoy it. But I think it's realistic. This team for 13 weeks had some of the most insane injury luck until your colleague Andrew Callahan wrote a story about how healthy they were. They were on an insane run. And all year we've said this is a roster without depth, and it's being pushed to the limits, and that's what happens in a football season. So look, again, not here to piss on dreams, not here to say, but you're right. There are people that were like eager to jump off the ship. Like they've been waiting for weeks, holding their little floaty ring, ready to jump off the ship.
Whee! Jumping off the ship.
I told you guys were to sink, and then the boat just does keep on going. But I did, have some critical thoughts on the internet about the fake punt, which was horrific, and did receive some fire Vrabel tweets in response. Maybe chance. I don't know what they were doing, but yeah. And it's like, I don't think Vrabel should be fired for that. That's just, I want to be on record for that.
No, I'm on record about that as well. Vrabel's done a fantastic job. Let's take a break real quick and talk about Prize Picks, because Prize Picks is really fun. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. It is the holiday season, and it is the best time of year for sports. Bowl games, basketball matchups, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while you and I are out here making decisions every day, what gifts to buy, what to eat, which games to watch, there's one place where it feels good to be right, and that is Prize Picks. And Michael, listen, I'm not going to throw you under the bus on this one.
Good.
I had first mentioned we should take more than Derrick Henry rushing yards. I started to bring up Stefon Diggs for receiving yards. And you said, no. We're going to do Kayshon Boutte.
That doesn't sound like me. Doesn't sound like me.
If Kayshon Boutte wasn't being tackled mid 50-yard throw from Drake Maye, we would have gotten more than on his receiving yards as well.
For sure.
So in a lot of ways, this is a failure by Marlon Humphrey for tackling Kayshon Boutte. But we got one. We got Derrick Henry. We did not get the second one, Kayshon Boutte. So I think the move here is that Patriots fans have to keep just fading us and picking against our picks, especially if they're coming from you. Listen to me. Don't listen to Michael. It's all right.
All right.
No, I'm kidding. But we hit one. We didn't hit the other one.
You got to be selective with your fades though, because we usually get some.
It's true.
You got to really parse it. In retrospect, now Diggs was coming off a bad game. I have his numbers up here. If they play a night game, say in the wild card round, we're taking the more than.
Please don't play a night game in the wild card round.
They might. There's two. There's Saturday and Monday, right?
I know.
The odds are not in your favor, Sleepy Doug.
It's all right. I can survive. I'm relatively awake right now. I feel like I've been having coherent thoughts, but it is It is tough, especially when you're on the road. But I don't know. At this point, who knows? Maybe the Patriots get the number 1 seed. I don't like playing the
It's
playoff
well,
path game, as you were mentioning, because it's just like it hurts my head too much to
all right.
do it.
I don't want to like after saying it's not wise, but I do think the 1 seed would be valuable. They went from
Yeah.
having a 10% chance of getting it to a 38% chance now.
Yeah.
Now,
I was seeing like 40 maybe. Yeah.
yeah, 38 is
Yeah.
only two less
Close
than
to
40,
40.
Doug.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on the New York Times playoff predictor.
Okay.
If they win next week, it's 49%. And if they win their last 2 games, it's 60%. So it's still
Wow.
not in their control. Denver has, I think, Kansas City and the Chargers left.
Okay. Yep.
Chargers game week 18 could be a big one
That could be a big one.
sense. So
Chiefs, like based on how they looked yesterday, maybe not a big one.
so if you caught the video of Vrabel in the locker room,
I did.
I saw it this morning. He mentioned already, like I think he might have said short week, but he meant like Christmas is going to disrupt things this week. They had to travel back home. I don't know that either of these games is a guarantee. They got to travel to the Jets. Like they should win this game. There's really no excuse to lose.
Do you know who the quarterbacks are in these 2 games?
Brady Cook and Quinn Ewers. Like you shouldn't lose. I think you're right.
No.
Like Devon Achane is great, but that's going to be a Dolphins team in week 18 in New England.
Not happy about the weather. Yeah.
So I don't want to spend too much time fantasizing about the 1 seed.
Right.
But it is in play. Like you win your 2,
No,
Denver,
it is. Yeah.
Denver loses 1 more. You got it. So, and plus, you know what the bigger story would be if they do that? The Patriots would be 14-3.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Like,
even
shut
just
up.
12-3 is wild.
Like, shut up, 14-3. Imagine, I don't know, April when the schedule comes out, May, whenever, or July in training camp, or August in the preseason. I came on and I said the Patriots are going 14-3. You would X out and you would never do a podcast with me again. 14-3 is very much a realistic thing that should happen, which is nuts.
It should happen. I like the Patriots are probably going to be favored pretty heavily in both those games. I don't know what the line is for this week's game, but you got to think it's double digits, right?
It's probably going to be like 11 on the road, maybe 10.
Yeah.
The Jets are bad.
Yeah. Not short travel for the Patriots, which helps. It is, it's tough having to come back from Baltimore on a Sunday night and then still have to travel to New Jersey, but it's fortunate that it's 2 short trips at least.
God, I hate the internet now. It's 12.5 points.
Wow.
That's
high.
That's one book. It's probably going to come down a little. I would think 12.5 is a lot.
I would think so. 12.5 is a lot.
I would take the Jets plus 12.5 just because of all of it.
Too.
It's Christmas week. It's a December game at MetLife.
The Patriots are so banged up, and I mean they could very well get Milton Williams back for this game, which would be huge.
What's the word on that? Because everyone's saying that, but it seems as though no one knows his status exactly.
No, but I mean he's seemed unperturbed walking through the locker room for a few weeks now. So yeah, the hope is that you get Milton Williams back. I don't know what's going. Robert Spillane is a weird one, where he's active last week in an emergency role, but then doesn't practice at all this week. Ruled out on Friday in a boot. I don't know. It obviously wasn't placed on IR because that would have knocked him out for a while. But you definitely, like, if you can get Milton Williams and Robert Spillane back, even just for the playoff run, which you would hope, that will help the run defense so much. Like, I don't know if they're going to get back to the level that they were early in the season when they weren't allowing 50 yards for any running backs, but any improvement would be so significant for this team right now.
Isn't that kind of odd? Because when they got Milton Williams, he wasn't sort of pegged as a run stuffer.
People were questioning him as a run stuffer, yeah.
But the stats of him with and without him against the run, it's
crazy.
Nuts.
Yes.
So he's been pretty good.
They were like top 5 with him on the field, and they're like bottom 2 with him off the field.
Yeah. I have 2 questions for you, Doug. I wrote in my notes. Questions for Doug.
All right.
No, singular Doug. Questions plural for Doug singular. Okay?
Yes.
One more X and O related than the other.
Okay.
There was a 3rd and 4 for the Ravens. Lamar had a hard count. Patriots showed blitz. Lamar steps up, changes the play. They snap the ball. 7 guys rush the passer. Lamar has an easy pitch and catch. Is there no one on that defense with the experience and command to change what they're doing when an MVP caliber quarterback is clearly aware of what they're about to do.
That is tough. I don't know. Jack Gibbons is the signal caller right now. Maybe if it's Robert Spillane, maybe he's just like more experienced in that role and feels more comfortable doing it. So maybe
Like,
the injuries start to pop up there a little bit. But yeah, you would hope that you could do that.
not to relitigate. Like, I don't think Jabril Peppers has been great for Pittsburgh. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Duggar has played, obviously. Someone with sort of that know-how in that moment
Yeah.
to just yell like kill, 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 or like there's
Right.
got to be something when you're about to. And
Yeah.
it was
Like
just
the 2017 Patriots or 2016 Patriots probably handled that situation differently.
right when you have a high tower on the field, when
Yeah.
you have
Devin
a
McCourty,
Devin
Patrick
McCourty,
Chung, yeah.
that's just crazy. So that stood out to me as something that, again, you mentioned the Patriots last night would not have beaten a good playoff team. That's the type of moment where it's a 3rd and 4 and you got to get off the field, and a guy's just looking at you like, really? Like, this is like, that's what Josh Allen is going to do to you in that situation. That was one question.
What were the other? Wait, that was one question. Did you have a second one?
I have one more question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Real quick. This thought came up last night. What's the M&T Bank Stadium review? Because I was watching it and my thought was like, nobody has ever thought about M&T Bank Stadium. It's like, did you play SimCity back in the day on Super Nintendo?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So you'd like boost stadium and it would just boom. That's what it's just like stadium, generic stadium.
So my take on M&T Bank Stadium is that I'm somewhat shocked that it was built in the 90s because it feels more modern than that. It feels like they've done as good of a job updating M&T Bank Stadium as the Patriots have done modernizing Gillette Stadium. Because they've got a nice board, it looks good from the inside. You walk into Nissan Stadium or even Raymond James, and you're like, oh, this is just a not dilapidated, but crappier version of Gillette. M&T Bank Stadium feels like it's an event. It's not, you don't walk around going, oh God, they've got some, like, that looks kind of bad. That looks kind of bad. So no, I think they've done a pretty good job modernizing it. The big thing at M&T Bank Stadium seems to be like the player intros. Obviously that's always been a big thing with Ray Lewis. Other thing too, they do a lot of Ravens themed animation on the jumbo screen, on the jumbo board, on the big screen in between plays. And sometimes it kind of doesn't hit, I would say. Like they're trying to amp up the fans with this like weird computer animation that almost looks like a Shrek movie of Ravens. And it doesn't always hit. But overall, I would say positive, not negative on M&T Bank Stadium.
All right. Better than MetLife?
Yes. MetLife stinks.
That's the like gold standard for just a blah giant stadium.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Literally a giant stadium, but still, yes. Not it's at least the seats are purple at M&T Bank, which adds some
not gray.
Not gray, not just different shades of gray. It's
right.
not a romance novel from the 2000s.
There you go.
But
M&T Bank Stadium, positive review. I just
so one thing that surprised me. Have you been to Camden Yards?
Yes.
When?
Been a while, probably like 15 years ago.
I went in high school because my sister went to American University, not to dox her, in Washington, D.C. So we would at least once went to a Orioles game. I don't remember M&T Bank Stadium just being right there next to it, which I was like, when was this thing built? Was this thing built after I was in high school? No, it was built in the 90s, and it was there. I just don't recall it.
You don't remember the Ravens couldn't host the Week 1 opener after they won the Super Bowl because the Orioles refused to move their game. It was a Thursday night game against probably like the friggin' Twins, and the Orioles were like, no, we're playing. And there's not enough, like they can't both play at the same time. Like the congestion would be too much.
It would be too much.
Shout out to the Orioles. But yeah, you were going to stay on. I just had to ask you those questions. Thank you for indulging me.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, also, I really wanted to try a soft shell crab while I was here because I don't understand it. They just fry the whole crab and then you eat it. But I don't know if it's in season. I was trying to get some DoorDash yesterday because I flew in yesterday. Couldn't find it. So it doesn't
feel like the type of item you seafood, DoorDash. No.
All right, fair. What were the other egregious penalties?
Okay. There was a roughing the passer that negated Mark Andrews with the dumbest fumble of all time. And it was helmet to shoulder. It was gentle. It was one of the more insane. And it's one of those things, Doug, when there's a pass interference penalty on Patrick Mahomes, the whole internet goes nuts. Like, Mahomes gets all these calls. It's like, does Tyler Huntley get all these calls? Like, the refs just stink. I don't know what to tell you.
I know the other one you're going to say.
Also. OPI, Boutte on Humphrey.
Yes.
Which
there was a Patriots front office contingent sitting behind us, and their reaction to that call was not pleased, I would say.
It wasn't a push off. Like, there was arms. He ran into, like, there was contact. There's contact on every play.
Right.
The official, the side judge, I have a video of it on my Twitter. He's looking at it and looking back and looking at it and he saw whatever the contact was, didn't throw a flag. The throw happens, the catch happens.
Yeah.
A beat happens, and then he throws the flag. And it's like, buddy, that's not how the rules work.
The defensive back didn't even really move. He didn't like get jostled. Was the ball even in the air at that point?
No, but you can't push off before. It's not like defensive pass interference.
I guess.
You can't push off to get open and then catch the ball. But it wasn't OPI. It was football. And to be fair, though, there was a Marlon Humphrey holding call. I think it was on Kyle Williams to extend a drive early. That was totally phantom. It just was not there. So it's not as if this was it. There was another one, the illegal formation on Kyle Williams. I think they got wrong too. He was
off
within
the line
a
of
yard.
Scrimmage, but Vrabel was losing his mind on that one. It seemed like
he was in line with the right tackle. Like, he wasn't a yard back. He was within a yard of the ball.
And Kyle Williams was also pleading his case, which for a rookie, I think shows that he was not happy about that one.
It's just not an illegal formation.
I almost want to go back to the Keyshawn Boutte DPI. I don't even know if I have anything else to say about it, but I mean, there's no more obvious defensive pass interference. He was getting dragged down from behind. Like, when the official's watching that, what could possibly go through his mind other than, hey, this is a 50-yard penalty that would make him not throw the flag there? I just genuinely don't understand it. And I asked Vrabel after the game if he got an explanation for the refs on why it wasn't a flag, and he joked that all they said was that you have to survive the ground for the catch, which he was like, I know the catch rules.
They brought Terry McCauley in. They're like, could you go over whether this is a catch? It's like, buddy, nobody thinks this is a catch.
Right.
We understand that. What's going through the official's mind? I would say it's like the chimp with the cymbals. I think that's like a Simpsons thing. That's the only thing I can think of. That should be talked about nationally during the talk shows. It wasn't the only one. Did you watch Commanders Eagles Saturday?
No, I didn't. I watched the night game, but I was like, you know what? It's a Saturday before Christmas. I've got stuff to do with the family. I don't need to watch the Commanders for the 15th time this season.
Fair enough. It was not a pleasant game to watch, but I want to get the exact situation. Devontae Smith was running just sort of like an out route deep in the end zone, basically ran to the back line and broke toward the back corner. And they called a pass interference on, I'm not sure. I can't, that wasn't it. Was that it? I don't know. Either way, it was a third down and it would have been a field goal, but instead the Eagles scored a touchdown, which it was it was a close game. There was no contact. There just wasn't. He was sort of face guarding the receiver with no he did eventually touch Devontae Smith's back, but it just wasn't pass interference. The flag came late on a pass that was uncatchable anyway. So you mentioned you pair that with like Carlton Davis last week on Keon Coleman,
right?
A game changing pass interference where he does take a grab. I would equate that to going 68 and a 65.
Right. Yes.
I just think people you can't have perfect consistency, but at this point, I don't know how you can have any idea what the rules are.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, when you can tackle a guy as he's catching the ball, just the absolute most egregious pass interference possible, then I don't know. We still haven't done booms and dooms, and we've talked about a lot of these guys. Stefon Diggs, I think, would be the
Top
biggest boom for me. 9 catches for 138 yards. He was the number one wide receiver that you want. He was really feeling it after the game, saying that he knows that the Patriots were interested in signing other wide receivers. He knows who those wide receivers are. I asked him if he's been monitoring those guys. He said no, but prayers out to them. Maybe someday they can come play here. But
can I just?
He had a great game.
Can I throw the actual numbers at you for the night games?
Sure.
So he's played 11 early games, 1 or 4 o'clock, averaging 10 yards per reception, averaging, where's the yards per game? He has 454 yards in 11 non-primetime games. In 4 primetime games, he has 415 yards. He's caught 31 of 37 passes thrown at him.
Primetime, my time, he said after the game.
Doesn't score at night.
Right.
His 3 touchdowns have not come at night, but he's just been a monster. Outside of the Giants game, maybe it was
Giants.
Was sort of a quiet one.
Under 30.
Yards per game, 103.8 compared to 41.3.
It's crazy.
So he shows up for
Huge
these games.
Discrepancy. Yeah.
Which, come playoff time, keep that in mind. But yeah, he was immense last night. I don't think you win that game without him.
Drake Maye, 31 of 44, 380 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. As we mentioned, you stop the game in the third quarter, he's probably on the dooms list because he was struggling, had 2 turnovers, more than made up for them. His completion percentage over expected, 12.3. His QBR, 68.4. EPA per play, 0.3. Average depth of target, 11 yards. I think you mentioned 5 of 6 on deep balls. So the deep ball was back for Drake Maye in this game. Really impressive for him to be able to bounce back in the second half. This is still a team that can't put together a full 60-minute game, but it's better to have the positive 30 minutes in the back half so that you can still make the comeback.
Yeah, would you rather a good first half like you had versus the Bills or a good fourth quarter like you did on the road?
Wherever you come out with a win.
Yeah. I mean, sports are hard. Sports are hard. But yeah, he definitely rescued himself from the dooms list. He would have been a reason. And it's like when he had the pick, he was 5 of 6, Right. It's just the one incompletion was a big one.
Yeah.
One play I want to ask you about, I didn't rewatch it. Like it happened and I absorbed it and I'm like, there it is. And then his run to win the game at the end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'd have to, I honestly.
It's like an 18-yard run.
16 yard. It was after a kneel down. So I don't know if he caught them sleeping. Like I have to rewatch that play. But that was kind of big. I mean, that would have been, let's see. We're doing clock math. I think they would have had to kick the field goal at some point. I don't know exactly when.
Right.
Like 40 seconds.
Overall didn't appear as spry in this game. He wasn't running by guys as much as usual. Yeah.
Draymond Jones, I think, caught him from behind.
Yeah.
Which we haven't seen all year. So that's probably an aspect of it being December.
And he was getting hit a lot. He was getting banged up in that game, so that plays into it as well.
Do you know who loved that?
What was that?
Do you know who loved that?
Who?
Chris Collinsworth.
Really?
Like there was a free rusher off the edge. Like people don't appreciate how big and strong Drake Maye is. Look at, he just knows he's going to get hit and he doesn't care. He doesn't care. And it's like
he got real banged up at the end of the game. Had to get kind of peeled off the turf.
Oh, that was the Twisty McTwisterson, but he was okay.
Yeah. And then the last one, the last 2, I guess, Caleb on Chason and Jalen Hawkins with the punch outs.
Yeah, they were a pair for me. I had another pair, and this is what got the Patriots offense going. Mac Hollins and Austin Hooper back to back.
Yeah.
So you watch that first one, that sort of deep in cut to Mac Hollins, and you're like, man, another high pass from Drake Maye. But then you watch the replay. He had to get it over Kyle Hamilton, who was like, and he couldn't wait. He couldn't wait for Hollins to clear more because Marlon Humphrey was back there and would have broken it up.
We were also the first ones to report back in August, I think, that Mac Hollins is tall. Yeah.
Immense talent. Like it's such a good skill to have. I would have that if I could.
You're talking about us to be able to point that out, right?
No, being tall would be sick.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I could dunk. That'd be amazing. But no, that ball looked high live, and then you watch and you're like, that's the only place it could have been.
Yeah.
And he has the faith, like just the chemistry is real because let's say he doesn't believe Hollins is going to go up for that, but he throws it anyway. Hollins just watches it sail over. It's like a pick, and everyone's like, what the hell are you doing, Drake Maye?
Yeah.
That play, and then Hooper had the sort of back shoulder spinorama catch right at the 1. I think those 2 plays were like the jump start. So I put them on the booms.
Hooper is such a fascinating player on the Patriots where he, like, it feels like half the catches he makes are of this spectacular variety. Where you're like, is he underutilized? Well, like, is he utilized perfectly? Is he utilized just the right amount? But I just contend, or I stand with it, that having him as your backup to Hunter Henry is so valuable because like they don't actually work that great in tandem. The Patriots in 12 personnel this season have not been great, but to have someone like Austin Hooper, who's not as good as Hunter Henry, but it's not dramatic,
Yeah.
is so valuable to have just to give Hunter Henry some spells, like to get him out of there, to keep him well rested, to be like, you know what? We have another extremely dependable option who gives you basically the same skill set as Hunter Henry behind him. It's just, it's a huge thing to have.
I don't know if that's like the ridiculous catch is he's not getting separation, whatever it may be. Like
Right.
maybe he's not, I don't know if you call him a move tight end. He's not super slick, but he's also not huge, but he's also not small. He is sort of a tweener, I guess, but his catch
Hunter
percentage.
Henry kind of is too, you know?
Yeah. I guess he looks more prototypical. I don't know their actual measurables, but a 78.3% catch percentage for Austin Hooper, given all that, is pretty crazy. But so he had 2 catches for 34 yards last night after no catches the last 2 weeks.
The most traditional Austin Hooper stat line.
Yeah. But that was a big one. So I included them on my list.
All right, that's fair.
Doom's time.
Hunter Henry also had some decent catches in this game, I feel like. Not to the same degree, but he's just a nice little safety valve.
Well, you know what? I give, like, the touchdown looked obviously absurdly easy. I give Henry credit for staying on his feet. Whoever he was blocking at the line.
Henry did also have a drop, so I guess you can downgrade him a little bit there.
Yeah. But he had, like, if you rewatch his play on the end of the line before going out for the, like, to even stay on his feet to be able to run the route, it was pretty. I think Drake May probably scores on his own anyway, but it was a pretty impressive play.
Dooms. Yeah. I don't know if nebulous is the right word to use, but these are all kind of just ideas rather than individual performers. Did you have individual performers on your
I had Vidarian Lowe. I thought
that's fair.
I don't know what his PFF grade will come out to.
I don't know either.
But he was bad. I think Moses had a couple bad reps, but otherwise
he's also dealing with a knee injury. Yeah.
Sure. I just think we on this podcast have said Lowe, not that bad. Right. You got some decent play out. This was awful. I don't know if it's the road environment. He was getting beat almost every snap. And Drake May sort of, like we've said this before, he was born in the fire. He played last year behind the worst offensive line in football. He played his last year at UNC behind a bad line. Like he's adapts to it, but it was suboptimal. Like it really was.
I think that's fair to say. I'll have to see the PFF stats, know for sure how many, but yeah, there was a lot of quick pressures. There was also a lot of time, like you said, the Drake May had a lot of time in the pocket, but you expect on every play to have some sort of time to drop back and pass, and that was not always the case. So I think that's fair. Otherwise,
I had another individual.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Christian Ellis with a really bad face mask. It was on Flowers. Flowers was being tackled, like he was going down, and you come over the top and give them 15 yards. It's just one of those mistakes. Again, you said they wouldn't have beaten a good playoff team last night. That's the type of play where it's like they scored 2 plays later.
Right.
Like you just can't do that.
Ground game on both sides of the ball. Patriots really couldn't run the ball until that Ramondre Stevenson touchdown at the end, and they couldn't stop the run either, which I don't know. I mean, I know that all the old school football heads will be like, you got to run the ball to win the playoffs. You got to be able to stop. Like, I don't know. We'll see. I do think you have to stop the run to be able to win the playoffs. I don't know if you have to be able to run the ball, especially when Drake May is your quarterback. But losing Trevion Henderson and losing that ability to have a 50-plus yard run wasn't great. I would say that Ramondre Stevenson was like a borderline boom, though.
Yeah, he
had
some
the
big
touchdown
runs.
run, and he also had that catch early in the game where he basically turned like a 3-yard gain into a 23-yard gain just from dancing down the sidelines and cutting up field. And it wasn't like the most majestic athletic play you've ever seen, but he just willed his way to 20 yards.
It was his best play since Miami week 2. Remember how good he was that day? Like he had, I tweeted a screenshot of it. He's basically bracketed against the sideline at the 50, but got past 2 guys and then finished it off by running through a safety's chest. So the touchdown, the winning touchdown, like he was good.
He also got open on the deep ball from Drake May, but it was just little bit too far out in front of him.
So that was 3 plays after the play I just mentioned.
Yeah.
So he had a 30-yard gain. Then they gave him a handoff. And then on 3rd down, he ran the route and he was open. He had a step. I think he was probably like the NBC camera caught him after not, and he looked winded. Like he was a little gassed. Otherwise, that would have been a huge one.
Yeah, that would have been a big one. Yeah.
Another sneaky boom while we're at it. Kicker didn't miss.
Yeah, Andy Borregales was a borderline boom. Yeah.
Cold December outdoor Northeast game. Northeast-ish. Northeast
I
adjacent.
think it's Northeast. Yeah.
2 for 2 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points. So
Yeah.
I had this written down, and as a warning, I'm gonna say the Lord's name in vain.
Oh God.
A doom would be everything involved with the fake punt. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, coaching just in general, I guess. I don't know if there's any other egregious ones, but the fake punt, man, 4th and 10, throwing the ball with Marte Mapu. Like, I'm sure that looks great in practice,
Sure.
but then
I get the element of surprise. Like no one's expecting it. It's just not. When a fake punt works, it looks brilliant.
it's just as like when you're the up back there, when you're the punt protector like Marte Mapu, you're pretty far back.
Yeah.
So a 10-yard completion really turns into like a 15 to 20-yard completion when you're that far back.
And also the one option he had to pass to was double covered, basically.
Right.
So it just didn't catch anyone by surprise.
And then if you have to scramble there, then you have to pick up 5 yards just to get to the line of scrimmage.
It was ugly. I want to ask you this. I probably should have asked you before we're ending the podcast, but people will want to know because you're the expert. You're there getting your hand ink stained. A lot of people on the internet super down on Christian Gonzalez last night.
Oh yeah.
I don't.
Not his best game, but
yeah, like he gave up the slant to Zay Flowers, I think, on a 3rd down conversion, which was a slant. I saw people getting on him for the Hopkins catch on the sideline, which it was 3rd and 18, and he allowed a 9-yard. Like he was playing off. Right. I don't put that. I didn't think it was awful.
It's funny. I kind of view the whole season that way for him. He had the pass breakup, which was big, but he's not shutting guys down the way he was last year, and he's not making enough big plays. Like him and Carlton Davis still don't have an interception this season, which sometimes that happens. Sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way. But when you're considered one of the best cornerbacks in football, you kind of need to generate some turnovers for your team.
He did end up one-on-one in the open field with Derrick Henry and tackled him, which I thought was insane.
Yeah.
But it also went into like Carlton Davis gave up a play to Zay Flowers on the opening snap.
Right.
And that I would lump in with the overcommitted to stopping Lamar Jackson because it was basically he had no safety help. Right. And just the sideline, like the outbreaking routes were there to be had. So he couldn't cover that. So
Davis let up a 1st down as well later on in the game, which he was not happy about. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I
guess as you approach,
everyone was expecting like all pro, #1 cornerback in the league, Pro Bowl type season from Christian Gonzalez. And it hasn't all come together. So I can understand some disappointment, but he's not a disaster out there. He's not a bad player. He's still a good player.
But as you assess and evaluate that next contract,
for sure,
I don't think this season has been anywhere close to last season.
No, I agree with that. And I think he's still going to get a contract based on last season.
Yeah.
I think it's up to the Patriots now to determine, like, do we run a defense that requires us to have a $30 million cornerback or whatever it would be, you know?
It's interesting because I was looking back at the draft. You had Gonzalez at 17, you had Smith and Jigba at 20, and you had Flowers at 27.
Yeah, I guess like last year you would have said like Christian Gonzalez the obvious pick. If you look at it now, and Jigba would have been the call. Yeah,
he might be the best receiver in the league.
And I mean, listen. I think when Christian Gonzalez was there, I was like, okay, yeah, take Christian Gonzalez. But I was a big Jackson Smith and Jigba proponent at that time because I know it sounds ridiculous to talk about it in the 1st round, but just the way that Njigba moved in college and caught the ball and like ran routes and all that stuff, it was the closest thing that I had really seen to like a Julian Edelman comp as a guy who was like a slot / outside wide receiver. And you don't necessarily think about Julian Edelman obviously being like a 1st rounder, but Njigba is like a Julian Edelman plus, I guess. You know,
I guess the concern was he was coming off an injury his last year at Ohio State, so
he wasn't as good that final season as he was as a sophomore.
He got hurt his last year, so he only played 3 games. So that was the concern. But I'm not in any way saying the Gonzalez pick was bad. It's just that's the, high end of that mid to late first round that is interesting to sort of scope at.
For sure. Okay, we should get out of here because I have to upload this and get to the airport.
Make sure you put on nice clothes. The traveling secretary guy, the travel secretary, says you got to dress nice on the plane. Don't dress comfy. Have some friggin' class.
I'm going to wear jeans. Is that okay?
Jeans is probably acceptable. No sweats.
Can
you
I
better
wear
change up.
sweatshirt?
No, you got to button up, maybe a tie.
Maybe we'll see.
Don't be a schlub out there, all right?
All right. Well, we will see you guys at some point this week. We got to figure that out because it is Christmas week, which makes things a little bit more difficult.
Interesting.
Yep.
Let's do a Christmas morning podcast. We'll get the whole family involved.
Yeah, perfect. Maybe we could get Santa on the podcast.
Deal.
All right. We'll talk to you then. Make sure to subscribe, rate, review, do all those fun things. Use Prize Picks, code CLNS. Goodbye.